I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Deshonde. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, it could be a review, reaction, re-review, randomness, pretty much anything, including a topic like this video here. So thank you so much for that. And again, for those interested, you can send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. So the topic Deshonde asked was, can the Rambo films translate well as a fantasy franchise? I had to think about it for a little while because, first off, what terms are we talking about when we're saying fantasy? Because if you're saying like fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, no, I don't see Rambo in that direction. Like an Army of Darkness style, I don't see it on that nature as well. The thing with John Rambo is, yeah, as a fan of the character, part of me will wish him in any crazy scenario that's not disrespectful to the character and is not boring. And I think Rambo 5 was both of those, especially boring. I would rather see a crazier movie than a boring movie. And again, some people like Rambo 5 Last Blood, that's cool. I thought it was fucking boring at the end of the day, along with the tons of other issues I had with it. I know my friend Michael CP finally saw it, and he wasn't a fan of it either. And people go, oh, because he agrees with you. No. Rambo 2 is my favorite of the franchise. It's not his favorite of the franchise. In fact, of the first four, that's the one he likes the least. And Rambo 2 is my favorite, so... And there's nothing wrong with disagreements. That makes it fun. Discussion. And wow, we could disagree and still be friends. Holy shit. Who'd have thunk it? But, yeah, I know he saw Rambo 5. He wasn't a fan. See, it's a boring fucking film. And I mentioned on another video, I would rather, okay, if you're talking about fantasy, if you're saying, like, take the Hunter novel that Stallone wanted to do for a while, I know people are saying, oh, he's going to plan to do it. I don't buy anything until he's filming it. Even then, I can have doubts because Sylvester Stallone's track record, like Van Damme's and a lot of people's in recent years, have not been the best track record. I mean, Bat Trace, State Plan 2 and 3, Reach Me, Grudge Match. Not really the best of his career, so to speak. Or top 10 or top 20. At least not in my opinion. Just my opinion. I think after the first Expendables kind of went downhill, but again, that happened to a lot of action stars. Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, so forth. But if you had something over, like someone for Funny or Die, they did a fun trailer mashup. What if Rambo was a Godzilla movie? So it's like Stallone, Rambo, And then there's Godzilla and all these big monsters. And it was meant as a joke, but honestly, me and a lot of people are like, you know what? I'd see that movie. I mean, especially if The Rock can do Rampage. Imagine Rampage, but it was John Rambo and it was rated R. It would never happen, but that's, it's fun to think about. I would see that movie. Stallone in a helicopter with a C4 tipped explosive arrow shooting it into Godzilla's eyeball just to piss him off. I'm down for that. Or again, like, if he's not fighting Godzilla, well, it'd be like Godzilla vs. Kong. They fight, then they team up, and they fight the monsters. There you go. So, The Rock, at the end of Rampage, you had him literally fighting the big monsters a lot of times by himself with heavy artillery. If The Rock can do it, why not John Rambo? And I wasn't even a big fan of Rampage, but if it had John Rambo and his R-rated style, I'd probably be more down for it. Also, I mentioned with the Hunter story, I would love to see Rambo in a Predator scenario or even a Predator sequel. Now, granted, the problems would be, number one, franchise belongs to different companies. That means they'd have to come to a deal, split up profits, and they're like, we don't want to split profits. We want to have our own 100% profits. Especially now Predator's with Disney, and then Rambo was with Lionsgate. I don't know if, are they still with Lionsgate or with, I guess, Millennium? I forget which company they're with now. And Stallone would never do that because he'd be like, I'm following Arnold Schwarzenegger's coattails. And then people would be like, oh, well, what's the difference between Rambo and then Dutch from Predator? And if you still have a jungle setting, what's going to make that any different from Predator? It's like, well, they got a point. They do have a point. But if you found a way to make it work, that's why so many times you have people doing these Rambo versus Predator videos or trailers, because at the end of the day, it's like, that'd be really cool to see Rambo versus Predator. That'd be pretty damn cool. That'd be better than the Predator sequels we've gotten in quite a while. Predator 2 is a classic, but Predators and The Predator, Rambo vs. Predator would be better. Fuck a little better. Those movies would be better if John Rambo was in them and killing predators. You can throw in aliens in as well. I imagine AVP Requiem, right? Take Alien vs. Predator Requiem, since we're talking fantasy. Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Someone said, you know what? Let's have the crazy idea that, number one, get lights so we could see the movie. That's crazy idea number one. Hey, when we make a movie, let's have lights so people can see the shit. One day, I want someone to ask the directors of AVP Requiem, where the fuck were the lights? I want to know, can someone please, on Facebook, Twitter, if these guys are anywhere around, ask them, where the fuck are the lights? Hashtag, where are the lights? AVPR. I mean, where are the fucking lights? Did Christian Bale come by and get pissed with those lights too? And then they just said, fuck it, Christian Bale came by, we don't want him coming back, so just disregard all the lights? But, no buts. We just don't want him coming back. It's too fucking crazy. Going to American Psycho on our ass. Just don't have any lights. Fuck it. But he wants the lights. No, just don't have them. Have lights and have next to where John Rambo lives. He's going to town to get some bread or something. All this shit's going down. Rambo protects this group of people from aliens and predators. That'd be pretty fucking badass. Added lights and John Rambo protecting those lame characters. Wouldn't be the first time Stallone did that. Watch Daylight. And I like Daylight. Stallone protected a bunch of lame characters, but I still like Daylight because Stallone's really good. You do have that for AVPR. Rambo, hey, it's in a small town. Maybe the small town could be near where Rambo lives. Rambo was more, and Rambo 4 was more like a desert. But you can move it there, the town near there, fuck it. But, okay, if you don't do that, do AVPR the right way and have it linked to a John Rambo. That would make the fucking movie better. It really would. So that's what I mean, like, if John Rambo was against, like, when you say fantasy franchise, and again, that goes back to the terms of what is labeled as fantasy. Because fantasy is the fantastical, out of the norm. Technically, Alien, Predator, they're fantasy as well. Rather than more sci-fi horror, and the sci-fi horror genre. Fantasy, people think of Lord of the Rings, Legend with Tom Cruise, Willow, sword and sorcery movies, maybe Conan the Barbarian. And no, Rambo would not work in those movies. But again, the more fantastical, like I mentioned, like Alien vs. Predator movie, again, a good version of Requiem. And Requiem, I say a good version, like AVP Requiem is one of those movies I've said before that I could watch as a time waster, but it's not a good movie. Again, I can watch it and have fun with it, but there's a shitload of problems. It's not one of those I can defend. But at the same time, I kind of get some junk food fun out of. So that's what I mean by saying you can make a good, like, better movie out of it. Is I can watch it over AVP 1. Because at least it's rated R, at least the Predator's doing some stuff. And I actually don't mind the Predator-Alien hybrid. And the weird shit it's doing to pregnant ladies. I'm like, the fuck did that come from? It's weird, but kind of creative. I can have dumb fun with AVPR, but again, I can't sit here and say it's a masterpiece compared to The Predator. But I mean, I'm just saying that people, wait, I thought you said, yeah, it's because I'm not giving high praise to AVPR, but I'm giving like kind of one of those reactions. But anyway, that or like a creature feature flick, maybe if you retooled Shadow Company, the John Carpenter, the movie about soldiers, but the war currently going on, or at least at the time the movie, depends also when the movie was made. Like the Gulf War, say that war's going on, and people are brought back. They come back from the grave. Zombie soldiers. Who else is in town? John Rambo. So you have a Vietnam vet with his own demons versus undead Gulf War soldiers who are also literally demonic or zombies. There you go. Like different war eras facing off against each other. And of course that goes to a lot of stories. Like you don't even need the zombie era. Like what if a bunch of deranged Gulf War veterans, like the ones that did go too far, like Benicio del Toro in The Hunted, like what if you had a group of those guys going around killing people, and John Rambo, someone who maybe was friends with Troutman, said, hey, Troutman believed in you, maybe you give us some tactics, what they could do, what they might do, be the Tommy Lee Jones figure in The Hunted, like give us some expertise, give us some knowledge. What kind of tactics could they be doing? Ain't my war. Or, you can play around with it. But again, since Deshonde means fantastical, like, yeah, rework the Shadow Company. Instead of Vietnam, it's Gulf War, and then the town, maybe it's the town of Hope from the First Blood. And then Rambo visits because it's some anniversary, or maybe if he goes back, he'll settle his demons. And because of movie serendipity, it just happens to be at the same time that a bunch of veterans come home to that town, and they come out of the grave, and First Blood, he destroyed Hope. Now he's got to save it. So it's kind of a redemption of him saving a town that he helped destroy long ago. And that's why, the towns of Hope, They're kind of uneasy about him because of his history, but it's like, hey, this is your best bet. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a fun idea. What else? There's a guy on YouTube. I'm going to try to remember to put his link down below, somewhere in the info box. AMDS, also known as Antonio Maria da Silva. Antonio Maria da Silva, AMDS Films. He did this thing called Dinosaur Hunters, because this is a guy that is really excellent in editing, where he can make people intermixed with different scenes of movies and make them all blend together. And he did one called Hell's Club. Just really cool to look at on an editing expertise mind. How the hell does he do it type of thing? So he did a 2-hour movie where he took scenes from, and granted, the drawback is that he had to add in his own voice work, so it's all these action stars, Bruce Willis, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, Stallone as Rambo, but voices are put in to tell a story, because it'd be very hard to do that with dialogue from their respective movies. So that's the drawback, is that it's not their voices, but it's great to watch on an editing front, to see literally these guys fighting dinosaurs on an island. And like, there's Sean Connery, and there's Bruce Willis, there's Dolph Lundgren, there's Van Damme kicking a raptor. There's Stallone shooting explosive arrows at dinosaurs. I'm like, the story's a bit too environmental, ecological. I wish it was more of just a fun movie. The ending, I think there could be some tuning up on. If someone had the time to go through all of these actors' movies and plug in voices, but that would probably take months and months to do, and I don't have time to do that. But that, I mean, Dinosaur Hunters, I'm going to try to remember to put the link down below. It's worth a watch. It's like a 2-hour thing, and it's just cool to look at editing-wise. To see all these guys intermixed with dinosaurs. I'm like, you know what? I would see that movie. Fantastic. If somehow, like, remember the video game Dino Crisis? Or you had a team of mercenaries, or kind of like Rambo's mixed in with these guys, like in Rambo 4. Like, he's got to take these mercenaries down. He's the boatman, but it's to this place, and he's stuck there, and then there's all these dinosaurs. I'd see that movie based on, some of the way AMDS Antonio was doing did Dinosaur Hunters. That's the name of it. Yeah, that was interesting to see. But at the end of the day, I could see him working the John Rambo character, but it would never happen. Number one, just Stallone's too old. He did Rambo 5, which was, in my opinion, boring. Did not set the box office on fire. And Stallone, he never really wants to go that route. That's why you've never really seen him in a horror film. The closest is maybe ICU and Cobra. It's like the closest he gets to horror, but never creature feature horror. I did for like 5 seconds. He had the idea for Rambo 5. Some people complained, so he quickly changed his mind. Because at the end of the day, Stallone does think of himself as a serious actor. And for him to ever go into that route would be a disservice of serious acting. I really do believe that's Stallone's thinking. On why we never got to see him that. Like Arnold seemed like the type of guy that's like, I know who I am. I'm going to do these movies that hopefully are entertaining, escapism movies. Like The Running Man, like Predator. And I love, like, Stallone's my favorite. Arnold kind of understood the game, so to speak, more, and that's why, truthfully, Arnold had the more successful career back in the day. because it was more, okay, that's fun to play that character, but this seems like an audience crowd pleaser. Like Total Recall, like The Running Man, like Predator, etc. Like he was a product that he fairly knew how to sell. Stallone, he thought of himself as a serious actor, and I do think he's a serious actor. I think he's a good actor. But then the projects he picked, a lot of them I liked, honestly. It just, they weren't as successful for a variety of reasons. And then some of them, like Driven, Avenging Angelo. And then when he tried to do that, he chose stuff like Judge Dredd, which was a lame movie. So I don't know. That's why I wish he could have done Isobar. I wish he could have done Hunter. Because people say, oh, he's going to do Hunter. I don't buy it. I remember months ago, what was it? An interview, a Q&A. It was a Q&A on Instagram or something. He's like, yeah, I'm getting ready to do Demolition Man 2. Which we don't need, and I don't think will ever happen. But he announced that. He does that all the time. I'm going to do another Rocky film, but something about the border, or there was some crazy idea. I know he's not in Creed 3, which whatever. I don't give a shit about Creed 3. But Sylvester Stallone, we will never see him in that kind of way. The closest is him voicing Teen Shark and the new Suicide Squad. And I know he's going to be like a superhero in this one movie coming up. But an actual creature feature horror film, I think Sly would think it's beneath him to do that type of movie. Again, well, what about Hunter? Is not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I would gladly eat my words when it's actually being filmed. Until then, not holding my breath. As for John Rambo, yeah, after seeing him in fantasy elements, but Stone could have done it. I think it would have been cool to do it, but people would have been, oh, that's too stupid, that's too dumb, that's too silly. He would have been given a lot of crap, and then he would have backed off on it. So that's exactly what would have happened. But now, oh my god, this movie's dumb, yay! It's like, years ago, you'd be like, now you're like, yay! I'm like, well, make up your fucking mind, is it boo or yay? Because now, you see a film like Shark fucking Nade on people, oh yeah, it's so dumb! Okay. So yeah, I could see Rambo working in the right script, the right idea of a fantasy or horror, sci-fi. We'll love to have seen it. Sadly, will never happen. Any of those ideas would have been better than Rambo 5 Last Blood. Wanna Be Taken sequel. Taken to Mexico. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.